Alright folks, welcome to another beer review, and today we're going over to Deya and we're having a look at Lilac Roller, which is clocking in at 8% ABV, double IPA, and that says terps. So description of this is Vermont yeast plus freestyle mega terps make for a lush, bold double IPA with loads of sticky lime, caramelized peach and breakfast OJ. I mean, the description on that sounds wonderful, and really like the artwork on this one. It's really nice and pretty. Now, I am not gonna lie to you, I have no fucking clue what freestyle mega terps alludes to. I don't know if that's an ingredient, I don't know if that's someone who Deya have collaborated with, but yeah, it is what it is. The fact that it says Vermont yeast plus freestyle mega terps make for a lush, bold double IPA, I'm assuming it's an ingredient of some sort, maybe a sort of a new hop technique or variant. I'm not too sure, but as always, Untappd, well, I say as always, if I remember to put it in the description, the Untappd link will be down below, so you can do a bit of your own research. Even though, as the content creator, I should be doing that before I put out content, but it is what it is. Anyway, beautiful looking can. Picked this up from House of Trembling Madness on my what's becoming like almost a once a month thing now, and I'm always doing it because it's perfect for me to do it on a Wednesday afternoon to have it delivered on the Thursday because I'm off work. But a lot of the time, and it always seems to happen to me, some newer stuff gets released the day after. Case in point, Troubles from Cloudwater, and that's one of the sort of like the few sort of how would you describe it, seasonal releases that I will try and pick up year upon year. There's that, there's Putty, there's Celebration IPA. It's a very select few beers that I will actually try and make an effort to pick up each year. But it is what it is, and I'm sure at some point I will pick up a bit of Troubles. I always tend to find it still tastes good even a few weeks after its release, just because, you know, of how brewings come along and storage and canning and just conditioning and all that sort of stuff. So even if an IPA is a little bit older, if it's been preserved well, you're still going to get a really satisfying experience. Anyway, speaking of which, God, 2020, lockdown. I think I bought this when I did a Time and Tide order, and that's a brewery I've not drank anything from for a few years now. I remember it being a really good, affordable web shop as well. Maybe the prices were a little bit more sort of like cost effective because a lot of breweries had to be like that during lockdown to make sure people drank their beer and kept them afloat. But anyway, I am trying to phase out this shape of glass in my collection now because I'm very much prefer a stemmed glass, but I need to change it up a bit. There's glasses in that cabinet that I've hardly used, and it makes no sense to be keeping them because it's not as if I've, you know, got them on a great display. It's just in a corner of my bedroom. Anyway, beer in the glass then looks absolutely delicious. I've got a weekend off, completely forgotten that I'd booked the Saturday off, but then I remembered why. Unfortunately, a gig that my brother's band, Apostles, were playing in Liverpool, probably their biggest sort of like gig outside of Isle of Wight Festival. Unfortunately I had to get cancelled because they were supporting the Lilacs, and unfortunately one of the members, young lads, one of the members got diagnosed with testicular cancer, so of course they've had to postpone it. It's a real shame that. And the unfortunate, and even more unfortunate, is the band is called the Lilacs because the same lad, his mother passed away from cancer. And I think there's like, you know, sort of like you get ribbons for awareness for various sort of like diseases and things like that. I think Lilac is linked to a very specific form of cancer or an organisation, charitable organisation. It's just really sad. And yeah, just makes you really think when you're moaning about the most asinine, pointless stuff. Young people are going through stuff like that, man. It's really sad. But not to lower the mood too much. Just hope if anyone is going through something like that, just stay as strong as you possibly can. Heart goes out to you. But yeah, beer in the glass, looking very nice indeed. It's definitely got that sort of like orange juice feel to it. Looks really nice and chewy. Just shy of a lining of Whitehead, to be honest. So let's see what we get on the nose. Oh, wow, I'm getting a big hint of peach coming through this. Wow, like peach Onken kids yogurt. Oh wow, that is very fruity. Don't think I've ever, because I don't like peach as a fruit, so I don't think I've ever had or smelled caramelized peach, but yeah, very peachy, apricot, that sort of thing. I know I'm picking it up because I've read it on the description, but I am getting that freshly squeezed, slightly pulpy orange juice. Oh yeah, tropical, citrusy, really nice and sweet. If it tastes anything like the aroma is teasing you with, should be in for a treat with this one. Will it hit the heights of saturated in, was it saturated in Citra? What's the Deya series of the single hops? Saturated. Why do I think Saturated is a siren series of beers? Anyway, that Citra double IPA, bah, quite possibly the best Deya beer I've ever had. Anyway, let's see how this compares. Cheers. Smells so good. Oh yeah, there's a real zestiness that comes through, cuts through everything else. Creamy, smooth mouthfeel. Really luxurious on the palate. There's like a slight tanginess to it as well. Initially starts off quite sweet, but then this almost like piney, resiny-esque dankness cuts through without it falling into that sort of like category of an IPA. And lime definitely comes through on the back end, mixing with a little bit of a bitterness. It's a double IPA that feels like a double IPA. Time after time, breweries will bring out like an 8% and upwards double IPA, and it just does not taste like or feel like beer, aside from it being very hoppy. But this, there's a little bit of warmth coming through, given that sort of like almost bell pepper, cayenne pepper, paprika sort of thing, without it tasting like a big spoonful of dried paprika or what's it called now? Like a spicy version of paprika. I've just said it and the word has just disappeared. Cayenne pepper, there we go. But yeah, you get that sort of like sweet yet vegetative and fresh, crisp crunchiness, if that makes any sense. There's a bit of oomph to it, which I really, really like. So you're not going to be, you know, down in it. It's very easy drinking though, don't get me wrong. But yeah, almost like mango sprinkled with a bit of cayenne, if that's a thing. It seems to be getting less and less sweet the more I'm drinking it as well, because I got a big hit of sweetness on that first sip, but it seems to have settled down nicely, and the citrusy side of things coming out maybe a little bit more. Lovely tingle on the tongue as well. Yeah, that's absolutely banging. That's fantastic. Lovely stuff indeed. I don't know, I sort of like stopped drinking Deya for a while. I think it's, I'm not gonna lie, it's because I was having a few duff cans of Steady Rolling Man, and then some of the other releases that I pick up, probably I'd pick like the weakest of whatever that new week or month's releases were, but I just wasn't, I can't lie, I just wasn't feeling Deya for a good while. I think I had that with Verdant, I had that with Cloudwater, but then you just have that one beer and then it's just, it gets you remembering why you really like that brewery and why you know that they've got the reputation that they have. And you know what, not every brewery will bring out a beer that's an absolute winner. I mean, case in point, he's used the term case in point twice in one video, because he's a fucking swanky toff, even though he's working class. Like this, which I also picked up from House Trembling Madness. It's Equilibrium doing a collaboration with Trillium, and it's a double IPA. It could be absolutely mind-blowingly amazing, but because of the breweries that are involved, you're instantly putting it on a pedestal, and you're setting yourself up to having a really well-brewed beer, but disappointment because of how you set a beer up. How that blends in with my whole Deya spiel, I don't know. But yeah, you just have that one beer again from a brewery that you kind of not really drank for a while and think, mate, just think of all the other beers I've missed out since the one that I had that slightly disappointed me. But yeah, like I said, not all breweries will bring out banger after banger after banger, and I think that's why that should be a banger. Equilibrium and Trillium, it's probably a damn fine beer. I'm really looking forward to it, but because you put that expectation there, it doesn't always mean they're going to bring out like that year's best beer just because of who it is, who they might have collaborated with. Sometimes you just get a generic well-brewed beer from breweries who are getting, you know, the highest of accolades and critical acclaim. It's just not possible to continuously brew from one beer to a next phenomenal beer that's gonna absolutely shatter the rankings on Untappd. It's just not feasible. There's breweries who have a good knack of doing that, but you know, you just can't do it. You're gonna get a duff beer, you're gonna get a boring beer, you're gonna get a beer that is completely underwhelming. It just happens. And I think, admittedly, I got a little bit put off by Deya for a good while, just because I was having, it's just not blowing me away. But I could have just had a run of the weakest of the bunch of whatever was available at the time, and it happens. But when Deya do it, they absolutely do it. I mean, it's saturated in citra. I don't know if that's the correct name. That to me was what I want with a double IPA. It uses my favourite hop and it used it well. Beautiful mouthfeel, just luxurious drinking experience. And it's not in that sort of like same level for me, but it's still damn fine. Really, really nice. And still falls in that category of what I want. I want big when I have a double IPA. I want a double IPA to be bigger than an IPA. The same way I want an IPA to be bigger than a pale ale. I'll have a pale ale that's got much more satisfying mouthfeel and flavour than like an IPA or a double IPA. But I like, and that's why I think out of the IPAs, double IPAs are always what I gravitate towards to. And then when someone comes along with a triple IPA, it's like, oh yes, please, I am yours. Anyway, if you've tried this, let me know your thoughts, opinions down below. You probably already know what Freestyle Mega Terps is. I would not recommend drinking terps, by the way. I learnt the hard way, and this is what you've got. Anyway, yeah, lovely stuff. Information, as always, in the description. I've got quite a few Deya reviews. I don't think anyone actually goes back through my channel and goes to an old beer review. Once that beer review's had that like 40 views at a push, that's it. It's a dead channel. It's stagnant as fuck. And yeah, I could have been a master at YouTube. I could have had this as a career, but odd choices and YouTube changing their algorithm and, oh, you can't do that, and oh, we're going to age restrict this video, but we'll still make money on it. You just can't. Just look at Mondo Squalido. That could have been one of the big film channels, but because I was looking at retro porn and exploitation films, probably some quite inappropriate un-PC jokes, it's just not popular, even though I got like 18 million views from my Irreversible review, which I didn't sign NDA. I got about 800 quid off the first month of that video going live. So thank you, YouTube, for taking that away from me, but also that I continue to upload on this platform that does not like creators unless they're backed by big money studios or celebrities. Cheers for that, guys. Love you. Anyway, Deya, that'll be the Deya. Bye. That was an awful way to end the video.